Yo guys, and welcome back towards this new video here on the channel. And on today's video I will be diving a little bit deeper in towards the Bitcoin correlation between equities, between gold, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500. So make sure to watch this video till the end. This is going to be a very interesting one because all these charts right now are telling that Bitcoin is in a pretty interesting stage right now here. So please give me a little bit of your time to explain about why I personally think that this is not looking all too bad here, because the correlation between Bitcoin and equities has been basically spiking extremely high. We are basically once again expecting a decoupling, and I will be explaining that to you guys out there on today's video. So make sure to smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive right away into the content. Like we first of all know here, Bitcoin is coming down for a little bit more, and of course my orders around the 33,000 US dollars are getting filled up for Bitcoin. So that is absolutely amazing to have right now here, and I will be definitely benefit from the lower prices we're currently seeing on this market. At the same time, 1 hour time frame is creating some bullish momentum here. To be very honest, I don't want to be a bull over here because people are probably going to shoot me, because people are absolutely hating on all the bulls out there. That is also for me a little bit of a signal we could be maybe bottoming out here. But yeah, what we can currently see, Bitcoin forming a bullish divergence. These are just market facts that I'm sharing with you guys out there. So I am just telling you guys what I'm seeing on the charts here. So Bitcoin forming a bullish divergence on the 1 hour could be leading potentially towards some higher lows. Also looking at the daily time frame, pretty interesting on how we're seeing the market right now unfold compared to the summer correction, right? In the summer correction, we were basically seeing two very similar things here. First of all, we formed three bottoms before reversing back up here, and the first two bottoms were with a big wick. The third and last bottom was of course with several candles towards the downside. Exactly what we're currently having as well right now. And if I'm removing all the drawings, and if I'm going to be making up a very interesting thought, right, we can clearly see Bitcoin, of course, over here, consolidated basically in the first phase, right here. It's consolidated here in the first phase. Then Bitcoin as well consolidated here in the first phase of this reaccumulation schedule. But do note that as well for Bitcoin back here in the summer, we had a little bit of this fake out above this range, right? So let me make this a little bit more clear to see here. Let me make it 40%. You can clearly see Bitcoin faked out on the top side here, just like we did last time around here in the spring correction basically for Bitcoin. And after this period, we started to see a downtrend, just like we saw here in the summer low of Bitcoin here in 2021. So this is the downtrend structure we created here. So Bitcoin, of course, green reaccumulation, yellow fake out on the top side, and then this red period of course, downward sloping markets. And do notice on how similar these movements, these structures are basically in the market. Of course, the only big difference that we're seeing between these two periods is that this period over here took us only 67 days to reaccumulate, and right now Bitcoin has been trading in this more sideways market for already 126 days. So definitely a little bit bigger. Definitely a little bit bigger. And of course, we do have to take in consideration that the Fed is being hawkish right now, and that is the main reason why this time could be a little bit different, right? Of course, we are taking that in account, but also a thing that we are taking in account that probably this month here, in 3 days from now on, we're going to get the CPI reports, that they are probably going to be less high than the month before. So that is probably going to create some optimism across the stock market, and that could be once again lead towards some more positive price action and potential reversals well to come here. So take that into account. Things are starting to look pretty good here for the stock market, and maybe that could be leading towards the Federal Reserve being less hawkish right now. So this is a pretty interesting reaccumulation, and if we're really taking a look at the same pattern we reaccumulated in last time around here, we are going to be looking at exponential price surges and see, of course, a massive spike in Bitcoin in the coming days ahead of ourselves if we're going to be seeing a similar reversal structure getting created. So do take this in account here. Pretty interesting structure if you would ask me. Also looking at the daily time frame, you can currently see Bitcoin coming down here towards that 33.3k target, and you can clearly see we bounced from here in the beginning of January on my birthday, and as well here last time around here on the Bitcoin reaccumulation schedule here, we also saw a very beautiful test over here on the 33.3k here. Several wicks were getting created and several touch points over here as well. So for me, this is definitely a very important level to look at, and so far we're holding on towards it. So far everything is all right for Bitcoin. Then at the same time, looking at the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, we are currently retesting this weekly support line, and what we can see is that of course we're currently trading below it, but as soon as we are going to turn green on today's on basically this weekly candle, Bitcoin is going to be curving as well back up with that RSI. So Bitcoin could be potentially bounced from off this RSI uptrend here, where we already bounced from last time around here in the beginning of end of January. So that is actually looking pretty interesting if you would ask me. Also very interesting to see Bitcoin closed for the first time ever since 2014, 6 red weekly candles in a row. Will it be a 7-1? I highly doubt so. I mean, even 7 red candle in a row is going to be absolutely crazy. This is one of the worst periods for Bitcoin in a very long time here. Bitcoin loses approximately 32% in 42 days. That is absolutely terrible, even 35 because the week just started here. So that is absolutely terrible. But it is definitely a record since 2014 that Bitcoin had such big of a loss. But let me right now talk about the correlations between Bitcoin and equities, of course. So make sure to stick with me right now because things are starting to become interesting right now. So let's first of all divide the Bitcoin price section by the gold price section. If you do that, you're going to get this chart. And first of all, do notice one thing. Has Bitcoin trended up against has Bitcoin trended up against gold with time? And I'm going to zoom out for a bit here. Yes, it clearly has here. And what we can currently see here is that basically, if we're going to look back at where Bitcoin was trading 2016, 2018, or 19, it is a way back ago. And you can see how exponential the price grew already, approximately 500% compared to 1,200 days ago here. So massive growth is basically what we're currently seeing. Then as well, we are seeing a very interesting trend emerge here. First of all, previous resistance from the previous all-time high, currently flipping into support. That is what we're currently trading on. So Bitcoin is basically trading at a range. And here, this range, in my opinion, is the range where the smart money is looking to be buying. The institutional investor. And guys, I have been talking about this, basically this chart, the Bitcoin against the gold chart, over here as well. And I told about to everyone out there that gold was actually, that Bitcoin was looking actually pretty good against gold. Well, basically was making up this good buying opportunity. So once again, we're seeing it again. Bitcoin is trading at these very good accumulation ranges against gold, basically suggesting a very good buy price. Of course, if we're looking at an uptrend, we are going to be measuring some kind of an uptrend over here. We could be coming down a little bit further, but no matter what, we are clearly trading in a higher low structure, and if Bitcoin is going to continue this trend here, I wouldn't be all too surprised actually. So Bitcoin is moving up against gold here. It is retesting its previous all-time high, and for me that is a huge buy signal if you would ask me here. Also, if we're looking back towards previous very strong RSI support, you can clearly also see this range over here basically provided very good supportive bounces, and currently we are retesting it again. So Bitcoin is a little bit devaluating against gold, and that is basically making it a very good opportunity right now to accumulate. Then also looking at the Bitcoin against the S&P 500. So first of all, we were looking at the gold comparison, looking very strong. Right now, we're seeing as well the S&P 500. And first of all, what can we learn if we're looking to Bitcoin to the S&P 500? Should I answer it? Yes, I will. It trends up with time. Bitcoin trends up with time against the S&P 500. So it is only a matter of time before Bitcoin continues its trend up here. And even it's still in an uptrend, so I don't really call it a downtrend. But yeah, Bitcoin trends up with time against the S&P 500. So is it smarter to hold Bitcoin or S&P 500 for the long term? You have to fill that in here. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm currently holding more and more Bitcoin in my portfolio. So yeah, what we can currently see is that we have been creating a beautiful uptrend here since the beginning of 2018. Since the bear market low, we've been basically trading in an uptrend ever since there, and right now we are coming down massively. And I'm currently waiting for the breakout 2.0, right? Breakout 1.0 was a massive rally against the S&P 500, and it was, of course, an approximately rally of 500% against the S&P 500. Crazy rally, if you would ask me here. And right now we are waiting for the second one here, the next leg up here against the classic stock market. But what we currently are seeing is that we're forming a beautiful upper sloping support line, and so far we're bouncing from it very strongly. So I'm personally still expecting to see this bounce getting generated from off this market right now. It is just going to be a matter of time, and this week is going to be extremely exciting because we are getting very interesting retests. We did saw 6 red weekly candles in a row. Are we finally going to get that green candle right now here? And is the S&P against Bitcoin going to be bouncing as well here? That is going to be the big question. I personally will be giving a big fat yes here. So once again, another chart showing us the accumulation for Bitcoin against the S&P 500 is particularly low. And if we're really going to come down towards this green support line, this is also a region where I will be like to be buying, because that could be a likely region region to expect a fake out, since last time around we retested it, we bounced back very strongly towards the upside. Then looking at the coloration between the NASDAQ and the Bitcoin price action, it is starting to become even more interesting. And first of all, oh sorry, this is not the NASDAQ against the Bitcoin. This is the pure NASDAQ, excuse me. But this was a chart that I was willing to be picking up for you guys out there, because this chart is showing some very interesting things right here, right? And let me quickly explain this to you guys out there. Of course, first of all, I want to be claiming that I'm not a stock market trader whatsoever, but I do know some general things about support and resistance. And if I'm looking back here towards the towards the NASDAQ, we can clearly see this has been an important region, right, for the NASDAQ. Let me make it a little bit more thicker, because it's basically about this region over here. This region has been a very important region for the NASDAQ. It has been providing resistance. It has been providing resistance over here, as well over here. And then while we're breaking above it, we were bouncing back up here, we were coming down, retested it, and moved up here. So if I'm extending this level here, and what are we seeing right now? We are retesting this level right now, and this is extremely exciting, since this level has been already showing us it has been a strong level of support. So these classic investors are going to look at this level as well as a potential accumulation range. And would it make a lot of sense to see the NASDAQ really bottoming out on this region over here? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see that, actually, man. This is a very likely region, and also do take into account that the inflation is probably going to come down a little bit here in towards May 2022, and that could be, of course, also a catalyst for these investors to start to become a little bit more bullish again here. And of course, the money has to go somewhere, and yeah, I definitely think there's a possibility for the NASDAQ to see that potential bounce then getting created from here on. So looking forward towards it. Hopefully we could be getting it, but for me it does look like a very likely region to see a bounce from of getting created. Of course, we are also still looking towards a downward sloping support line on the NASDAQ, what we're currently also trading on. So this could be also the region to be really see that bounce here. So this week could be starting to become very interesting. This downward sloping support line has got a lot of touch points, like you can see on the NASDAQ. We've got not only 2, but we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 touch points. So we can clearly see there is a high amount of significance from of this region getting created, and I wouldn't be surprised to actually get this bounce in here and really move further up here. Then furthermore, and guys, make sure to stick with me for this last part of the video, I am currently seeing some very interesting things, right? So first of all, I discussed this yesterday as well here, and let me place my head here. Oh, excuse me, this is the chart. Let me place my head here on the top left here so you guys can see it pretty well here. This is the chart with the Bitcoin and number of addresses holding more than 10,000 Bitcoin on it. And what we can see here is basically the Bitcoin price action since it was forming an all-time high here at 69,000 US dollars. It moved down here, all the way down here to approximately 36,000 US dollars, 35,000 US dollars. And at that point, we were seeing a lot of whales distributing their positions. However, we have seen a strong amount of accumulation taking place here for the Bitcoin whales holding more than 10,000 Bitcoin. What you can see here over the last days here is that Bitcoin whales has been stepping up here. Here there were only approximately 84 whales with more than 10,000 Bitcoins. And right now, over the course of this period, since the beginning of April, February, and right now towards the beginning of May, we're seeing an increase of approximately 20% across these holders. And we're currently seeing around 95 of these large 10K plus holders. And you can clearly see is that the majority of these whales have been stepping in towards this market while the price action did decrease massively. So there's a high certainty that there are right now some big whales stepping in towards the market. And I really want to be asking the question to you guys out there. If you're selling right now, do you think that you're selling again towards whales or selling towards stupid people? I personally think it is whales, because if I'm looking at Google Trends, I see the interest across Bitcoin is extremely low. People, short-term holder supply is selling off their Bitcoin, and at the same time, while the short-term holder supply is selling off their Bitcoin, we can see a massive amount of growth in the long-term Bitcoin holder supply. We are setting all-time highs day after day after day. And first of all, zoom out, look at this chart. This has been basically the chart that is telling us how many percent of the supply is a long-term holder, how many percent of the supply is holding longer than 1+ year. What can we see? We are setting all-time highs day after day here, indicating there is a very high sentiment of holding in the market. And you can see here, we just make the new all-time high of 65.195% here, and that has been absolutely crazy, mind-blowing for Bitcoin, because this is definitely a step in towards the right direction. Eventually, the sell pressure is going to run out here, because these long-term holders are less likely to sell in these market corrections, because they already have not touched their coins for 1+ year, and they have been already went through that May correction exactly a year ago, right? So this is a very big opportunity for you guys out there, in my opinion. I personally don't really see this as an event where Bitcoin is going to come down to 20k, 25k. Like, these large institutions are buying around that 30k region, 35k towards 33k, and I personally think we're probably not going to come much lower than that. And Bitcoin, its network is growing like never before. I've been explaining it almost in every single video I dropped out here. The Lightning Network, it has been growing at a pace never seen before. We're setting new all-time highs every single day in terms on how strong the network basically is, right? You can clearly see network is growing, and price action usually tends to be following afterwards. And what are we currently seeing? We're seeing massive growth across the network. Also, look at the thermo cap. This is very interesting. I personally do not think miners are already selling right now. Why? Is because if they're going to sell right now, they're going to be paying more expenses, right? Because the average cost to secure the network is increasing massively, because there are more validators coming in towards the network, making these miners less likely to sell here, making these miners holding in the market, creating basically less sell pressure, and that is eventually going to be result in a rally again here. It's just basic theory of Bitcoin, how these rallies are created. And of course, in these runs towards the upside, we see a lot of distribution from these smart money, from these whales, from these miners, and that is actually always a top indicator, and people tend to be ignoring them along the way up here, but that is not a thing to ignore. And right now, along the way down here, many bears are also willing to ignore these big buying indicators. So for me, it's pretty clear what we're currently seeing here. I also see the NASDAQ having a very interesting retest. For me, this is the time to be waking up here. For me, this is an extremely exciting opportunity that I will be taking with both hands. So anyways, guys, this was already it for today's update video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, smash the like button up, guys. It is a little bit harder here to stand out on YouTube recently, but it will be highly appreciated if you're going to smash up the like button, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.